Well, thank you all for being here. We're going to talk about usability. We're going to talk about mass adoption and what needs to happen in cryptocurrency and many other applications on the blockchain to facilitate this mass adoption. So first of all, I'd like to introduce a fingerprint wallet. And the problems, well, I'll introduce the problems first. So as you're well aware, there are pins, passphrases, passwords that are required for all hardware and even cloud-based wallets today. For many people, they are not used to managing keys. They're not used to managing private or public keys for that matter. And yet another password or a passphrase is something that's very difficult for them. We also have this 64-digit or 64-character key that is kind of the bane of the mass adopters, while the software techies and the early adopters of crypto don't really mind. Multi-signature is also a problem, where you have distributed teams that are geographically located in different locations, and then to match up a list of pins and accounts, now you have copies of that floating around in order for multi-sig to occur. So we want to address those, and we're going to address those in three major ways. So first of all, we're creating a frictionless and secure biometric wallet to manage those keys. Again, those keys don't only apply to cryptocurrency, they apply to anything that you're doing on the blockchain where there needs to be a public and a private key handshake. So, number one, we are adding enhanced biometrics. This is not just a standard reader that you'd have in your phone. This reader is not only reading your fingerprint, but it also has a thermal signature that it detects, as well as it knows that there is a pulse in your finger. The reason that we do that is to ensure that not only you're a living person, but that also you're not using glue or what I've done on my own iPhone, I hacked it with a gummy bear, right? It's not that difficult. So we want to prevent unauthorized use of your fingerprint. So we also have secure and patented encryption. We are not using standard 256-bit encryption. We're actually utilizing ephemeral key wrapping encryption, where at a user-definable interval, you can change the key. You can change the key every day. You can change the key every hour. So the encryption that's on the device is not random number generated, and it changes. It's a moving target. So we have enhanced encryption. We also have a sequence of prints. So if you're thinking of multi-factor authentication, and you're thinking, well, a biometric device counts as one factor. Well, what happens if you can have a sequence of your index finger, your ring finger, and your pinky finger? Now all of a sudden that multi-factor authentication is important. Where this also has a major impact is on multi-signature. So we can store up to 100 prints in a single device, but you can also have multiple devices that are global in their exact location, and instead of having copies of these pins and passwords, you just use the biometrics. I'm going to introduce part of the team, and then I'm going to hand this off to Tony. I'm going to introduce Tony. He's our Chief Technology Officer. So Tony has extensive experience in software development. He's a startup veteran. He started his own companies. So this is not his first opportunity at developing product. He's actually very good at it. So he is leading off the technical charge. He's our software guru in this play. And with that, I'm going to actually turn the mic over to Tony.
Okay. Thank you, Andy. I'll just say as an introduction for him, he's just a hardware guy. No. Okay, so I want to go back to this really quick. One of the things we're focused on, a hardware wallet is all great. People enjoy that or want to keep their data secure. But what does that mean to the average consumer? So one of the things we're really focused on, and we've been giving demos in our booth, is the ease of use. I want to imagine a day where I could sit on my couch. I know nothing about Bitcoin. I see something on the news. Say, that's cool. I'd like to buy one of those. How do I do that? We really don't know. I have to go on Google. I have to figure out how all this works. I'd like to download an app or say, buy a hardware wallet with directions and in less than 3 minutes be able to buy a Bitcoin on exchange and have all the security and everything baked in. The user experience drives mass adoption. I worked years ago in expense reporting, and when the smartphone first started being developed with cameras, BlackBerry was the first, if you all remember that. And the camera changed the expense reporting process immensely because you could snap a picture of that receipt. Something we take for granted today, and everybody's adopted that. The simplicity of that flow, just snapping and recording that receipt, made a whole industry. So I think one of the things that we can really bring to identity and the crypto space is just that easy onboarding user experience. Okay, so the rest of the team, we have a board of advisors. We have several other people on our team. Some of the main advisors have been experienced in currency trading. Mick, who works with our patent encryption, has worked with the U.S. government, and then advisors that have worked for major universities and still collaborating with people at universities, because obviously identity and security is a big problem. Again, we have development teams across Europe and the United States that have highly skills that we can bring in for a couple months at a time, rotate them off, always getting the best of the breed. And some people, the world's changing. It was always who you could hire and be on your team. Software development in our global scale is changing, and the fact that in order to get the best engineers get bored very quickly. They're on one project for 6 months, they want to be on to something else. Getting the best people for the time frame you need them is a much more efficient and cost-effective process. So with our identity, we're starting in the crypto space, but we see lots of other opportunity with embedded identity. Healthcare, patient monitoring, even as at this event, we've had a lot of discussion about how do you identify that person on the scale, the blood pressure is that actual person. If they can just reach over and touch a sensor and it proves it's them, it becomes very valuable for that data to be validated in the cloud. Financial transactions. A day when, yes, we're buying and trading cryptocurrency or using that the same as fiat currency or anything else. At some point, just ease of use in the banking industry and verifying that person is initiating that money transfer and speeds that up. Unique digital IDs. We had discussions about the pain points of driver's license or vehicle sales, home sales. Being able to uniquely identify something using the blockchain and that unique identity is the future, we think, and there's a lot of opportunity in that space. And then authentication. Secure data centers, secure areas. Any engineer knows the pain of audited networks, access, carrying multiple devices to get into different networks to do maintenance. It's a painful process right now, key rotation. All of those things that the blockchain opens up needs that end user device. So with that, we see a large opportunity in many spaces. Obviously, we have to start at one point, one industry, get traction. With our identification, we also have secure data centers and a cloud platform that has several global certifications, including SOC 2, Type 2, PCI DSS compliance, so that we can ramp into different industries and meet any government regulations we need to. So get in touch if you have interest. Any questions, thoughts?
Tony, you've given us a good picture of the use cases. How do you plan to take this to market and get it into the hands of the end users?
So initially, we're going to work to sell direct with consumers, provide the easy onboarding, and obviously scale that way. We're also talking to different potential industry partners where maybe it's distributed with their accounts, or maybe I want to sign up with an exchange and this is your default, you get in the mail and you're on that exchange in 3 minutes. I think the real opportunity will be eventually the business to business or that type of opportunity to scale and provide them a service to their customers.
Thank you. Any other questions? We have time for a question or two. Anyone else? Okay, ITBiometrics, thanks so much.
Thank you.